Okay. Hello, my name is Roch, and this is Wednesdays with wait. Yan, tama. We're already on the third episode, and if you missed the first two, you can always check out our YouTube channel. In the first episode, Luis talked about the spoken word starter pack, and in episode 2, Gege delved more into the hugot culture. So, in the night's episode, it's going to be a little bit more personal. So, I'm going to share a few things about my own writing process and what elements I consider the most important when writing, and not just spoken word, but in general. So first of all, I didn't start out as a poet and I still don't label myself as one. I started writing essays and focused on creative nonfiction while growing up, and then I became a corporate writer and then a spoken word poet. And just recently I finished writing my first novella entitled Matty's Mixtape for Moving On, which is still available on Amazon, by the way. So anyway, the point is that regardless of what I write, these two elements I'm going to share must always be present, and so I consider these my North Star when it comes to writing. So the first one is voice, and when I say voice, I mean the overall tone of the piece. And from there, the type of language that you think would make sense with that specific voice. So for example, um, in my piece, Alaala, because the persona is someone who has Alzheimer's, yung mga considerations ko for figuring out the persona's voice come from questions such as, ano yung mga panghihinayangan ko? Ano yung mga importante talaga sa akin na iisipin ko pa lang na mawawala, malulungkot na ako? Mas malulungkot ba ako sa mga major losses o dun sa everyday routines lang na nakasanayan ko na? At kung malulungkot man ako, ito ba yung tipo ng klase ng kalungkutan na nagwawala ako o ito yung klase ng kalungkutan na nakakapanghina? So from those questions, mafu-form ng mas maayos at mas solid yung voice na naiisip ko. So that's voice. The second element that I consider very important is focus. So focus for me has to do mostly with the overall structure of the piece and how one part transitions to another. So for example, if I ever decide to write about a breakup poem and establish drowning as a central imagery and driver of the entire piece, I have to think about what that means. So, why drowning? What sensation am I trying to liken break up to? So in drowning, there's struggle, there's the fight to survive, there's panic, but there's also this overall awareness that you cannot escape your fate. It's not instant. It happens slowly and it is painful. And to focus for me means to be able to hold on to that vivid image and maintain that familiar sensation that you're trying to communicate to the audience. If I suddenly shift my focal point to breaking up from drowning to, for example, a gunshot to the head, it it wouldn't make sense. Gunshot is instant and there's no struggle and it's basically over after a few seconds. So there's no focus and it would be very, very confusing on the audience's part. So basically, those are the two things that I always think about and try to apply whenever I write. I think about the overall voice of the piece and I make sure that the entire structure is focused on a tight and solid container determined by language and imagery. So that's basically it, and thank you for watching this episode of Wednesdays with Wa. And I hope you learned something from me And if you have additional questions, you can tweet to me. You just have to find me on Twitter first. And before I leave you all, I just want to promote another thing. So we have a book finally that was published. So tuwing ikatlong Sabado is a transcript of spoken word pieces by Words Anonymous. Duh. And it will be available in National Bookstore in, I think, a couple of weeks. So, kung trip nyo lang, you could get it for like 185. So, it's a nice little compilations of pieces that we're all very proud about to share to all of you guys. So, anyway, thank you again for watching and see you next Wednesday for our next episode.